I decided to look into Beyonce Knowles after seeing this billboard advertising her Cowboy Carter tour, and I was driving through Atlanta recently. She looks very different in this photo, like a ghost. Obviously, she's in the club. Sasha Fierce. And many people have covered her before, but now I'm curious as to see how she became a superstar, because I saw some other things when I was researching previously, so I'm going to look into her lineage in this video. Many speculate that Beyonce practices hoodoo, which is a form of witchcraft. I'm going to play a clip about some accusations from her former drummer, Kimberly Thompson, who accused Beyonce of extreme witchcraft and using spells to tap her phone, control her finances, and kill her cat. Y'all have probably heard this before, but I'm just going to play it here for context.
Beyonce is the top earning woman in music. She makes around $105 million, or at least she did last year. So along with all those riches, fame also brings bizarre allegations, like the lady who went to court accusing Beyonce of practicing extreme witchcraft.
Beyonce sure can cast a spell with her performances. But is she also practicing witchcraft? In head-scratching court papers, Kimberly Thompson, a former drummer for the singer's all-girl band, is accusing Beyonce of, get this, extreme witchcraft and magic spells and the murder of my pet cat. She's actually filed a restraining order against the star. Sounds kooky, right? And that's probably why a judge immediately denied Thompson's request for a restraining order. There's always been whispers that Beyonce belongs to some kind of secret society. They point to hand signals like this as an example of her communicating cryptic messages. But the accusations of witchcraft take things to a whole new strange level.
So the judge dismissed the case and denied the restraining order because it was a crazy allegation, or because he's in the club? Time magazine obviously thinks there's something to the hoodoo accusations. I'm going to read some of this Time article published in 2016. It reads, Beyonce's lemonade is black woman magic, and the lemons that Queen Bee is working with are powerful hoodoo ingredients for overpowering bad energy. They are clearly the Louisiana kind. Lush, troubling visuals show that Beyonce is the goddess. The goddess is furious. The goddess is victorious. With horror film style camera work in gothic Louisiana setting, Lemonade styles Beyonce as a parade of black Atlantic deities, surrounded by flames, rocking untamed hair and clenching into a scarlet dress. As her coven casts spells, she's Urzuli, Red Eyes, the Haitian Iwa Edwidge. Danticat calls the hot-blooded Urzuli, who feared no men but rather made them her slaves, raped them and killed them, the only woman with that power. Crowned in braids, a bejeweled headdress, and a triangular silver bra, she's Nefertiti, the powerful Egyptian queen deity, whose name means the beautiful one has come. This article also includes a short video of 33 iconic Beyonce Instagrams in 30 seconds. Time loves to promote everything that's wrong about the world. So, I guess she was pregnant here in her mother goddess gold getup. Very mother goddess type imagery and symbolism. Beyonce's music includes themes of black women's divine retribution and supernatural powers to fight social injustice. She's been involved in Black Lives Matter and fourth wave feminism movement. And these are the same themes in hoodoo, which involves reincarnation of spirits of female divinity. And the sun is also venerated in hoodoo. Hoodoo is specifically the ancestral religion of West Africa, which originated in Nubia and Egypt. It originated in Egypt, but is practiced in North American cultures, specifically in Louisiana. Hoodoo practitioners say that their practices are preserved in their Proto-European genetics. They also say that the essence of hoodoo religion is to experience the knowledge of divinity through spirit possession, like Sasha Fierce. It says Beyonce was born in Texas, but her mother is from Louisiana and is Acadian descent, which I'll review later. But in prior research, I read that Beyonce is related to Joel Hurt, who co-founded Druid Hills, aka Witch Hills in Atlanta, along with John Olmsted and Asa Candler, the founder of Coca-Cola. And I mentioned that her plaque, Beyonce's plaque, with her name on it, is at the bar at Atkins Park Restaurant in Atlanta, which is the oldest restaurant in Atlanta. And that restaurant boasts of a ghost who lives there, and ghosts are demons, and these people know this. But Joel Hurt, who is a relative of Beyonce, was a real estate developer and one of the founders of SunTrust Bank as well. In 1908, it says Hurt was unrepentant in hearings which revealed shocking abuses in the Hurt family's convict labor camps. He was callous and indifferent to evidence that many of his workers had died of abuse. He was vicious in asserting that convict workers could not be beaten enough. So, Joel Hurt's mother was Lucy Long Hurt, and she was the daughter of a man named Nimrod Washington Long, who also had Acadian heritage. Lucy and her father, Nimrod, are related to Beyonce Knowles. So I decided to look more into that lineage, which is through her mother. Her mother, Tina Knowles, is the one related to Nimrod and Lucy. Tina Knowles, and therefore Beyonce Knowles, are also Acadian descent. Acadian refers to French Europeans who migrated to what is now Nova Scotia in Canada on the east coast. So they went from France right here over here to Nova Scotia. And it was then referred to as New France, Nova Scotia was, in the colony of Acadia during the 17th and 18th centuries. So they would have sailed right over here from France to Newfoundland, or to Nova Scotia. Okay. But Acadians then migrated from Nova Scotia and New France in the colony of Acadia to Louisiana in the late 1700s after being deported by the British. The King of France arranged for about 3,000 Acadians to settle in Louisiana as a refuge in 1764. And Louisiana is named for King Louis of France. The Louis are Bourbons, Merovingians, who I've covered before on this channel. So the Acadian descendants are known as Cajuns. They speak Creole. But these were European French people, but many of them are black. And the reason they look African is because these French Europeans interbred with West Africans who were former slaves in French-occupied Louisiana. Some Acadians became slave owners and traders in the late 18th century. The Skeleton Key is a movie about Louisiana hoodoo and the relationship between the wealthy plantation owners and the slaves with regards to hoodoo practices. So it says that Tina Knowles, Beyonce's mother's family roots are in Butte, Louisiana, and she is a descendant of Acadian leader Joseph Broussard and French military officer Jean-Vincent Diabadie of Saint-Castine. Jean-Vincent Diabadie, aka the Baron of Saint-Castine, lived from 1652 to 1707. He was a French military officer serving in Acadia. He is the father of two prominent sons who are also military leaders in Acadia. He is the namesake of Castine, Maine. Beyonce Knowles is a descendant of the Baron of Saint-Castine. And this guy was legendary. Henry Wadsworth Longfellow wrote a poem about him titled The Baron of Saint-Castine, and the poem mentions Jesuit influence. The Jesuit Catholic influence also blended well with the religion of the native shaman and also the West African slaves in Louisiana. The poem depicts the contrast between the luxurious life in the Baron's ancestral home in France and the rugged wilderness of Maine, where he settled and apparently became very involved with the natives there. And apparently he was quite the ladies' man, having many native women lovers and also a polygamist. Joseph Broussard is another relative of Beyonce Knowles of Acadian descent, and he lived after the Baron in 1702 to 1765, and I assume he was descended from the Baron of St. Castine. Joseph Broussard was born in Port Royal, Acadia, and Broussard was also known as Beausoleil, Beausoleil, which means beautiful sun and represents a solar deity. Beyonce is named for him. Broussard, Beausoleil, Beyonce, beautiful sun. Here she is in her Ocean goddess outfit from one of the Grammy Awards, and Ocean is a West African goddess associated with love, fertility, and fresh water. So Joseph Broussard was an Acadian leader who organized militias in King George's War and the 7 Years' War. He was also a native chief in Nova Scotia, so he was incorporated into the native culture there after coming over from France. And after Acadia was captured by the British, he led the first group of Acadians to southern Louisiana. Broussard is widely regarded as a hero and an important historical figure by both Acadians and Cajuns. Broussard's children and grandchildren generally remained in Louisiana, integrating into the slave-owning upper classes of the colony. So Beyonce's maternal relative is one of those French Acadians who became a slave owner in Louisiana in the 18th century. His 21st century descendants include Tina Knowles and her daughters Beyonce and Solange. So my theory is that Joseph Broussard had relations with one of the African women who was likely a tribal princess. And the reason that I say this is because, according to some of the African tribal princes who accepted Jesus, they have testified and written books indicating that descendants of tribal leaders are often chosen as children to fulfill specific occult roles. In the movie The Devil's Advocate, Philippe Moyes is Kevin's first defendant in New York in the health code case. Philippe is a very significant, wealthy Acadian hoodoo practitioner in that movie, and he has a French accent. He does animal sacrifice underground, which he calls spiritual currency. Apparently, African witches are powerful in real life, especially if they are born into a powerful tribe. And in the movie, Felipe does some ritual with nails and a cow tongue against the DA in his case, saying, "With this tongue we create silence." So during the trial, the DA gets all choked up, so the witchcraft worked and Felipe got off. I'm going to play a clip from that.
That's a veal roast, Your Honor. USDA approved and stamped. Men kill animals and eat their flesh. Philippe Moyes killed a goat. He killed a goat. And he did it at home in a manner consistent with his religious beliefs. Now, Mr. Murdo may find that bizarre. It's certainly not a religious practice performed by everyone. It's not as common as, say, circumcision. It's not as common as the belief that wine transforms into blood. Some people handle poisonous snakes to prove their faith. Some people walk on fire. Philippe Moyes killed a goat, and he did it while observing his constitutionally protected religious beliefs. Your Honor, this case is not about keeping goats or transporting goats or goat licensing. The city was clearly less concerned with the care and feeding of the animals than in the manner with which they were slaughtered.
Objection!
Okay, enough. I got it. Let's wrap it up.
Your Honor, the city timed this police action to catch my client exercising his constitutionally protected right to religious freedom.
This is a law protecting kosher butchering.
Exactly, Your Honor. And I'd like to move at this time for a verdict of dismissal.
I happen to know a little bit about kashrut law, Mr. Lomax.
I'm aware of that, Your Honor. And that's why I feel confident in requesting a dismissal.
Mr. Murdo?
Your Honor.
Mr. Murdo? For God's sake, man.
Congratulations, great job.
Thanks.
Bravo, Captain. Bravo. Pamela, you're looking lovely. So, Philippe, satisfied? Always, Jean. Kevin, what can I say?
What can he say? What do you think?
How old are you, Amsterdam?
What do you think? If this case of Beyonce being related to bloodliners and appearing to practice hoodoo was an isolated case, we might give her the benefit of the doubt. But this channel is full of too many examples that follow the same pattern. Thanks for listening.